Yeah, we suck right now. The culture is actually like, I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from the pick sixes.
As the new NFL season officially begins with the start of free agency, there are unfortunately some things we must go over. New rules. As with most things the league has done, it's allegedly meant to improve the game, but some of them have led to more controversy than not. One of these changes that totally won't cause this is the banning of the hip drop tackle. Any infraction called by officials will now be 15 yards and an automatic first down. Another judgment call penalty and a league plagued by them. Oh, wonderful. The replay booth can now review instances of roughing the passer and intentional grounding. But knowing how well the pass interference reviews went, my hopes aren't high. What could be ironically useful are the new kickoff rules. They had to do something about them. The kickoff had been relegated to nothing but touchbacks for the most part. If you watch the XFL this past year, there'll be a slightly modified version of them. The kicker kicks off at his 35-yard line, and the kickoff special teams line up at the opposing 40. All but two players on the return team line up at the 35-yard line, not to move until the ball is received by a returner. The goal for the kicking team is to hit it in the landing zone, between the 20 and the goal line. If a ball lands or goes out of the end zone for a touchback, the ball is spotted at the 30-yard line. If it goes out of bounds, it's spotted at the 40 like it was before. Onside kicks also must be declared, thus eliminating surprise onside kicks. We'll definitely be complaining about these things in the future, but their newest gift to us comes with 2 games on Christmas. Wednesday football is back after a 4-year hiatus. The NBA is seething in the corner. What happens when one of the worst teams in football, featuring an increasingly toxic owner, decides to spend in free agency? You have to pay an exorbitant tax just to get players to come to you. We can't say that the Panthers weren't busy on the open market. Look at how much they paid Robert Hunt to solidify their offensive line. 5 years, $100 million with $63 million guaranteed. For Robert Hunt, you'd be a fool to decline that. Damian Lewis would have also been a fool to decline the contract Carolina offered him. Josh Nijman, too. Same as their defensive ads in Josie Jewell, Ashawn Robinson, DJ Wanham, and Dane Jackson. Hell, even Jadeveon Clowney's coming home. Deontay Johnson is their new wideout 1. Even if he's more of a 2 in this system, he's their headliner. Besides a lot of last year's failure being buried in the back, another headliner is headed out. Brian Burns in Carolina reached an impasse, and it could not be mended by means of proper compensation. He's been traded for a meager return of a 2nd and 5th round pick. This is a friendly reminder that the Rams were offering 2 firsts and a 2nd for Burns 18 months ago. Scott Fitterer did generational damage to this franchise.
Panthers select Xavier Leggett, wide receiver, South Carolina.
So Buffalo traded down again. And this one is going to give up the 5th-year option to Keon Coleman if he pans out at this level. They're probably trying to save a few bucks, but guess what Carolina did? They drafted a wide receiver. Perhaps this one won't completely flop like most of the ones picked in recent memory. Xavier Leggett is a good prospect, and he isn't going into as chaotic a wreck as last season. Hopefully. Panthers organization just can't catch a break. And you know why that is? There's been another David Tepper thing. Dude, you don't have to confront people every damn time they criticize you. Even Dan Snyder knew not to have tantrums with cameras on. Just shut the hell up and stay back. David Tepper is still the owner of this franchise. The future is already doomed to Dunning-Kruger. The answer to a question no one asked will continue to run this team into the ground as he has done since he bought it. We killed the man, but we didn't kill the idea. Perhaps Bryce Young is one of those ideas. Can he be salvaged, or did the Panthers already ruin him? He was sheltered in the preseason, so we honestly don't know the answer to this question. The mood in Charlotte is pretty much sacrifice countless children so the offseason acquisitions pan out and talent develops. They've been piss-poor drafters, and it more than shows. Most of anything they bring in instantly falls apart, like Miles Sanders. The best news anyone can hear is that it can't get much worse than it did last season. I only say that because there's always the potential it can. Tepper could fire Dave Canale 6 games in and coach the team himself. I'd recommend putting J.C. Horn in a bubble so he can play at least a third of a season. As you can tell, things are a bit less linear than in the past. New suitors are eager to stake the claim from the usual suspects. But the ones at the top will only relinquish such honor from their cold, lifeless hands. I think this year is a little of both. The NFC East has always been a conference that changes hands every year, so the Eagles will reclaim it for themselves. As for the NFC North, different story. I say Detroit reclaims it, but a few teams are hot on their tail. The NFC South, the conference we wish could be erased, goes to Atlanta simply by no Arthur Smith. And the NFC West, barring horrific injury, will be San Francisco's to lose yet again. Wildcards are a much trickier guess. Yet I believe that Green Bay, Dallas, and Chicago take them. There are more than a few teams that I consider for these 3 spots, so I'm not dismissing them at all. But the NFC's just weird like that. It'll probably be wonkier than I expect. You thought things were bad for the Panthers last season? Oh boy, do I have a lemon of a car to sell to you. Ever wonder why Carolina never played their starters for a huge chunk of the preseason? They might have needed to. I'm not even joking, they look like they could get mauled by a Division III team. Defanged and fucking terrible everywhere. New Orleans became Luigi and won by doing nothing. Bryce Young isn't just broken, he's melted into goddamn goop. He's become Achilles Smith, it's that bad. Even in garbage time they were depanced in real time. I can't even gauge the Saints since Carolina's so bad that they make a flag football team look competent. At this rate, Dave Canales will be canned tuna by week 8 and Bryce traded for a 6th round pick. Charlotte's mostly Steelers transplants anyway, so no one gives a shit about it. The Panthers got mollywogged on national television to a hated rival and look to be unable to grasp even the basics of football. Surely it can't get worse than this, we say. But it did get worse. The best player on their defense is now most likely out for the season. Derek Brown's a beast and now he's going under the knife for meniscus surgery. We're now on 0-17 watch with these fuckers. And it still might get worse. Come week 12, David Tepper will be throwing cups of acid at people. Say what you will about events in Springfield, but in Charlotte, everyone's eating the cats. We all know things can always get worse. And in David Tepper's circus, the Lions have escaped the cage and are mauling the bearded lady. Or is that Bryce Young being minced? You have to bench him at this point. The dude's living in the David Carr simulator. He's lost the confidence of himself, the fans, and his teammates. Legitimately trending to be the worst first overall pick of all time. And it's not just him, the whole team's trash from top to bottom. The coaching staff's lost in a strip mall for crying out loud. Jim Harbaugh has some semblance of structure. And that's all the Chargers needed. Carolina's lucky they could compete with a ragtag group of YouTubers. Liquid LA, thanks to this bounty, are somehow 2-0. Now, as long as Herbert's not significantly banged up, they'll be good. Jesus Christ. We're gonna look back on the Bryce Young pick and wonder how the fuck Carolina destroyed him like this. This is nothing close to what he was at Alabama. Bryce was supposed to be the most NFL-ready quarterback, and he's only ready to curl up into a ball. The Panthers ran a tool-assisted speed run on ruining him. And I think they clinched the world record. He legitimately should not be on a professional football field. He's that lost. Dave Canales can say he's their quarterback, but he had no choice. He kept Young in, he was going to lose the locker room. And with the whole team looking like a JV squad, they need a spark of flintlock. Bryce has been benched for the Red Rifle. This might be a worse first overall pick than Jamarcus Russell if it keeps trending like this. The Raiders didn't have to give up a haul and a half for him like Carolina did. And Jamarcus didn't have an elite quarterback go after him either. As I say that, this is a friendly reminder that CJ Stroud wouldn't be doing much better in this shit heap. He looked more competent, but he'd be dying alive here too. Sorry, Panthers fans. Your punishment must be more severe. This week was going to be very telling for the Panthers. Is the problem the scheme, or is it Bryce? Considering how Andy Dalton performed, it's incredibly damning for Bryce. With the same personnel, same playbook, and same schematics, the Red Rifle didn't just perform well, he obliterated the Raiders' defense in ways unimaginable not even days ago. From nothing to over 400 yards of offense, over 300 of them through the air. Las Vegas has terrible luck. They faced a Carolina group eager to celebrate getting a real quarterback under center. All the Panthers did was shit all over anything thrown at them. Weeks of pent-up aggression being taken out on anyone within eyesight. Even AOC thrown in garbage duty. Things becoming so demoralizing in Raider Nation that their players are simply making business decisions. Well, the coaches will make them as well. Carolina finally has some life. It's about damn time. The Battle of Ailing Cats. One has cat scratch fever. The other's just high off catnip. Which one is which? Depends on Andy Dalton being able to secure revenge against his old team. Unfortunately for the Panthers, they were playing a team that gave a shit. Cincinnati may be 0-3, but this is the epitome of a must-win contest for them. Red Rifle would try to go toe-to-toe with Joe Burrow, and Carolina did look serviceable, but the duo of Joe and Jamar Chase refused to be deterred. Sure, the Bengals' defense sucks, but Carolina simply lacks the firepower to keep up with their foe. Blatant flaws and random ugliness aside, the skid is over. Burrow was just a man possessed. His first win with bleach blonde hair. It doesn't really prove much for them, though. The real test is next week. Baltimore lurks in the corner. They want you served on a platter. Will you resist their calls to be cooked alive? Or is their god-awful run defense gonna ruin them before they have a chance? It's so beautiful for the Panthers to see the fruits of Bryce Young ripen for harvest. No, I'm not talking about Young, but Chicago. Silly kids, did you believe that Carolina was gonna have a chance today? They are better than before, but Caleb Williams is gonna develop chemistry with DJ Moore just to piss them off. Caleb easily had his best game as a Bear. And it may be against a hobbled and David Tepper burdened unit, but it's once again tremendous progress for the man. The Red Rifle's magic is fleeting. Their only remaining strengths are an injured defense and not going 0-17. Such a fantastic prize indeed. For the 5 Panthers fans that haven't checked out, I have great news. Bryce Young's headed in the game. He's going to get much needed experience because they don't want Andy Dalton being destroyed behind a battle line? So you send in the first overall pick last year to die instead? Is Tepper trying to cash out an insurance policy? The Falcons will continue their rise through the ranks. To overcome the horrible 28-3 curse, they must counter with an artifact that is stronger. That might be the Riz of Kirk Cousins. It might be the offense itself. Just like last week, they were a machine. An all-encompassing weapon that can strike you down in ways inconceivable to the human mind. This might be the best unit they've featured since the Millennium Falcon. They keep getting 400-yard days while giving up no sacks, it works. Their might is unstoppable in Charlotte, and it leads to magnificent breakthroughs. They gave carries to Bijan near the goal line. I know, I'm as shocked as you are. Arthur Smith would have given those to Jonnu Smith for a 2-yard loss or some shit. Meanwhile, if you're Carolina, at least the Hurricanes are starting their season in Raleigh. They won't let you down until May, so head over there and be a victim of the Red Rifle. Still better than Bryce, though. The Falcons did what they needed to do. And while it was an easy opponent, they get their most convincing win of the season. Pathetic, yes, but sometimes you have to take what you can get. All that matters is the final record. Just another notch on the belt. So what do we even say about the Panthers at this point? Do we laugh at their failures some more? Do we pray for their contraction? Do we just watch this flaming car crash as the franchise inside slowly burns to death? How the hell did Carolina win a game this year? Considering how awful they've looked over the past few weeks, they've reverted back to their Bryce Young form. The Andy Dalton magic is long dead. This Red Rifle is rusted and unsalvageable. At this point, I'm just beating a dead horse. Which is what Tepper will probably do in about 3 weeks. Firing Dave Canales in his first year seems extreme, but this is David Tepper. Nothing's too extreme for him. Washington merely benefits with needed practice against a glorified scout team. Domination from the starting bell that didn't end, even with backups. Somehow, the Commies are looking like the class of the NFC East. And the only thing that could stop them is an injury to Jaden Daniels. Oh no, no, don't you dare try to put that X on us! Thank God it seems like he escaped serious injury, but we already had to suffer through RG3 being ruined. We can't let it happen again. For all of our sakes. I've run out of things to say about Carolina. Even their Red Rifles are broken due to being involved in a car accident earlier in the week. Bryce Young will have his chance to prove the... I'm sorry, I can't say that with a straight face. Yeah, the Panthers got their asses beat. It's like watching Georgia play a Division III team. Completely outclassed, out-efforted, and outmaneuvered in every facet of the game. And Sean Payton is calling them an amateur outfit without any remorse, and we agree wholeheartedly with it? You have a joke franchise. Despite the Broncos' flaws, everyone circled this game as a free win for them. Bo Nix put up Oregon-like stats against these scrubs. Albeit with the asterisk of it being a Stanford-caliber defense. They did what they had to do. Can't complain about them. Yes, J.C. Horn, go and talk smack to Peyton for showing you no respect. You fuckers don't even respect yourselves. Denver can dance to 5-3 on your grave all they want. Here lie two dead franchises before you. One has been rotting away in the corner for years. The other's been using necromancy to try and keep themselves alive, yet failing miserably at it. All the cap spells and restructures of men have lost their potency. What you get are two really bad football teams. Two groups that need wins to give themselves something. Anything, really. Carolina, at least, is just terrible. The Saints are pretending they aren't. And it's an uncomfortably close contest for them. Nola's ability to generate yards upon yards of offense is doing nothing since they can't convert them into points. Back and forth it goes, and we all hope the Panthers win for the sake of laughter. Their defense is somewhat doing what they need to do, yet the Saints' offense is reminding us all how the first 2 weeks were an outright fluke. Honestly, it'd be pretty funny if they lost to a bottom feeder.
Perfect.
One starting a broken Bryce Young, of all things. They're allowing him to perform competently with long passes and pass interference penalties. Good for him. He deserves something positive in this world. Serves these stubborn Saints executives right.
And Hubbard slides through the defense, breaks through the 5, toward the end zone, slides in safely.
You want us to take you seriously as a franchise and you're out here losing to the Panthers? The team on pace for one of the worst point differentials in league history. Don't you dare blame injuries for this bullshit. Carolina's just as battered as New Orleans is. It's fucking over, Saints. You're lower in the standings than a 5-alarm fire. You've lost 7 in a row. The team's a vegetable in hospice. Chris Olave suffered his 6th concussion in 5 years as Derek Carr's giving him the Austin Collie treatment. Just pull the damn plug. Trade Marshawn to a real team so he can have a chance to win again. And then send Dennis Allen with a canoe into the Gulf. Forgive them, Lord, for they have sinned against you.
Achtung! Erleben Sie die größte Qualität. Die Panzerrote lobt die offene Binnen von München. Eine schmerzhafte Umbungen und zungenhaften American Football à la Booster für vergangene Stunden. Giants gegen Panthers im Bestreben der NFL. Das Spiel global zu machen. Potenziell 8 Spieler pro Jahr von Danny Dubs gegen Bryce Young. Oh, was für eine schreckliche Freude wir haben. Alles, was New York tun kann, jede Gelegenheit zu nutzen, wird und voller Pracht gezeigt. Chunk tritt in der Red Zone. Schreckliche abgefälschte Interceptions in der Red Zone. Die Verteidigung war nicht in der Lage, einen Fingerhut zu stoppen, geschweige den Bryce Young. Er ist der Verbote des Todes. Verlierst du gegen ihn, wirst du gefeuert. Vielleicht passiert es Danny Dubs. Ein Fumble verschafft New York eine gute Feldposition. Doch Josie Jewell reißt und den Receiver aus der Hand. Oh, schreckliche Freude. Dieses Spiel ist ein Kriegsverbrechen. Demnach wird in Nürnberg wegen der beschämenden Fußballerfrungen der Prozess gemacht. Viel schlimmer noch, wir müssen Überstunden machen. Dies ist ein Experiment, das Mängel aufstoßen führen würde. Und die Giants stimmen so.
He hands this one off. And it's a fumble. Ball is loose on the opening possession of overtime.
Picked up. New York beschert Carolina mit Leichtigkeitssieger in Folge. Und dazu brach ich nur einen Beinschlag.
Pinheiro takes the throw.
Giants herzlichen Glückwunsch zu ihrer Schukenasche durch Sanders. Ich werde kein Wort sagen, aber wir wissen, dass man ein Idiot ist und sie später aus Versehen 1 oder 2 Spiele gewinnen wird. Das ist einfach die Art der G-Mana.
Why are you so surprised that the Panthers are rising to the occasion and holding their own against the Chiefs? KC's been allowing their opponents to do so all year. They're more content with conserving their energy for the final push instead of going balls to the wall and burning up fast. Or at least that's what they'd like to think to themselves. Carolina's a significantly lesser team with a shitload of injuries on their defense and Bryce Young trying to salvage what's been a disastrous season so far. At this point, Kansas City's more interested in game manipulation to keep things close. Allow future opponents to take you lightly. You're having trouble putting away the Panthers? That's not good for the future. This team is 9-1, but it's full of bullshit. This game is more than proving it. Despite an 11-point lead in the third quarter, Kansas City's offense has no response to future inquiries. They go into sleep mode to conserve more energy. In the meantime, the Panthers' offense manages to break the horrible spell the Chiefs' D inflicts on its prey. Bryce Young's reviving into something competent again. His confidence is returning. Carolina's finally showing some progress. And it's rewarded with a long touchdown drive and 2-point conversion against all odds. The Panthers have tied the game. Their greatest accomplishment in years. That's as far as they'll go. It doesn't matter, there's too much time on the clock. We know what's gonna happen from here. Is it worth mentioning? Mahomes and his merry men are gonna dissect every weakness to go down the field and kick a game-winning field goal. I've seen Hallmark movies less predictable than this. Just play the clip and leave us disappointed.
The kick. Schrader. He knocks it through.
So stunning. Maybe next time they'll have Travis and Taylor get married with a bunch of blatant product placement. It's par for the course with the Chiefs. Winning ugly against terrible teams while being bailed out by talent at the last moment. It reeks of 2017 Steelers vibes. I can't wait for the first round playoff exit. If things were logical, it's gonna result in another Super Bowl appearance because life sucks. The NFC South is such a chaotic mess at this point that the Panthers have a modest chance of swiping it away. Figured Tank Division was in the past, but that might revive. Atlanta's a wreck, New Orleans is mired in their own misery, and Tampa Bay can't stop being undone by injuries and Todd Bowles. Today's problem was more the former than anything. Baker is visibly hurting. I don't know how anyone couldn't tell with how he was wincing in pain on roughly every third play. It was the worst performance from him in years, and it makes sense as to why. Thank the Lord for Bucky Irving. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a struggle to get anything going for both sides. Defense rules the day as neither quarterback can truly find pay dirt. Bryce has his limitations at this level, and Baker's just limited by health. Any chance for either team stuffed at the goal line like the Panthers are. But Tampa Bay has the talent advantage, and more on their side. When in doubt, give it to Bucky. The 1-point lead things are most certainly perilous in the fourth quarter. Once again, thank God above for the man known as Bucky Irving. So what do the Bucs do once they get to the goal line? Not give the ball to Bucky Irving. Great logic there, guys. You cost yourselves a touchdown. Here's a field goal to celebrate. Now, it'd be awfully convenient if your defense manages to break down at the worst possible time thanks to Bryce Young's revival. Perfect. You mean they did? How absolutely shocking. The Panthers have the lead. Unbelievable. It's here where Baker manages to will this franchise with whatever's left of his health to field goal range. That's all they can ask for.
Chase McLaughlin, the kick, it's up! It's through!
We're headed to overtime. It's far from the prettiest outcome, but the Bucs still have a chance. And they'll get ball first to prove it. A chance to avoid unbelievable embarrassment. They get to long-distance field goal range and can suffice with a dub. But Chase McLaughlin can't make magic happen twice. Carolina has a chance to make memes happen. They're gonna do it. The Panthers, a team left for dead in September, about to stun a hated rival with the arm of Bryce Young. He's no longer a total loss. He's developing. It's incredible. Go forth and win, my friends.
Already in field goal range, and they go to 200. Ball's out! Ripped out by the Bucs! And Giambi is on it!
Are you shitting me? The game was in the palm of your hand, and you trip over a stoop. Fucking Chubba Hubbard. I don't care if that's not the pronunciation, that's how it should be. And thanks to his colossal faux pas, Tampa Bay is an opening to fund their own bailout. Bucky Irving once again wrecks the defense with his feet, and then they find a way to get back to 500.
It's up and through, and the Bucs pull it out in overtime in Carolina.
You can have nothing wholesome in this world. God damn it. It's that time of the year again. When the playoffs start to peek into the picture and we discuss the scenarios at hand. The NFC's a bit tighter. The Motor City currently leads the pack, but Philly's hot on their tail. The division ranks are pretty safe otherwise. Seattle and Atlanta hold claim to some very weak conferences this year. That means Minnesota and Green Bay have the potential to feast if the cards fall right for them. Washington got off a cold streak and comfortably hold the final seed in the meantime. At 6-6, the Bucs, Cardinals, and Rams still have a shot, especially in their divisions. Meanwhile, San Francisco, Dallas, and New Orleans are clinging on for dear life. And I mean it. There's been a lot of disappointment for teams this season, but there's still a chance they remembered the rules.
Don't get eliminated!
Carolina's record's deceiving. They may be 3-9, but the Panthers have been improving rapidly ever since their disastrous starts. Think of it like the Steve Wilkes interim run, but with insanely terrible luck. It showed again versus the Eagles. Marching into a hated coliseum of pigskin, they'll refuse to let Philly walk all over them. Scratch that, I should say they won't let them throw over their heads. Saquon's gonna be Saquon no matter what the Panthers try to do. I'm surprised the Eagles have a minimal passing attack as of late. All that talent on their roster and they're forced to rely on Jalen's feet and Saquon going God mode? They need to find their wings again and fast. The underdog has matched the heavily favored adversary with a little good fortune on their side. We not only laugh at the Eagles, we laugh at the dude who bet $3 million on the Philly money line. But the memories are fleeting. With their legs, Eagles move down the field and secure a touchdown to the loving arms of Grant Calcaterra. Carolina and Bryce will have a chance to respond. And they do. For a short time. They get to field goal range, but the 4th and short fails to convert. Their good fortune has ended. Now Philly has a chance to kill them off. The Eagles burn time, but nowhere near enough. And the tension at the link will reach a fever pitch. Philly's used to it, yet this is a new magic to them. Bryce Young single-handedly overcoming one of the best defenses in the NFL. This really is a new age of football. These boys can't escape the might of Carolina. A drive that started on the 2-yard line being masterfully crafted by a man left for dead. The Necronomicon has very unnatural abilities, and Bryce will show them to you.
Another blitz from Philadelphia. Young leaves it for Leggett, who lunges out and tumbles down. It's ruled incomplete by the near side official. And it is an incomplete pass.
Are you fucking kidding me? It happened to Carolina again? Xavier Leggett, you're a first-round pick. You have to catch that shit. Bryce couldn't have thrown that any better. The chance to be a hero and you muff it like everything else this franchise touches. Like Jonathan Brooks re-tearing his ACL right after coming back, agony that's par for the course. Philadelphia proceeds to gallop away on the legs of Saquon to safety. Such a shame. This could have been true hilarity for all of us to witness. 1 month left. Get your tickets to the postseason ready now or be left out in the cold. We know the drill by now. The NFC's road is still undecided. Detroit stays ahead with a crucial win over Green Bay, but Philly and Minnesota are still hot on their tail. Thanks to Atlanta's catastrophic implosion, Tampa Bay has reasserted itself for the NFC South lead. The Seahawks still remain on top of the NFC West, but things could be getting shaky there with a loss on Thursday. A bye week for Washington maintains their 7th seed, yet rivals remain. The Rams and Niners want in. There's a chance the Falcons could get their shit together. Arizona could make miracles happen. Probably not, but you aren't out of the dance until you hear the dreaded words told to a few teams already. You know them by heart.
Don't get eliminated!
The Cowboys may have had their foolish playoff ambitions die last week, but Carolina's objective is to simply die. Despite being favored in this game and playing tight football against playoff contenders, they realize that they're actually a terrible football team. Bryce Young may have given the Panthers hope these past few weeks, but he was eaten alive here all game long. An absolute nightmare with 6 sacks and turnover production rivaling famous Jameis himself. 4 awful ones in a regression to the mean. He's probably done enough to earn another year here, but Micah Parsons took a gigantic shit on him and this offensive line in a hate-fueled orgy of destruction. Rico Dowdle proves himself as one of the few remaining high points of this franchise, and they win easily. It means nothing. Dallas can pretend they still have a chance in hell of playing in January. Carolina has real ambitions to shoot for. A top draft pick. One they actually own this year. The Cowboys will join them on the couch shortly.
Miss!
Light at the end of the tunnel dims further and further no matter how fast the Cardinals run towards it. Sometimes there is no escape. And they'll keep trying to survive despite Carolina pulling them towards the dark abyss. Someone forgot to tell Kyler. In his typical Jekyll Hyde style, Murray turns into a gigantic cock tease. Both dazzling and derping with the ball at the same time. Fortunately for the Cardinals, Carolina isn't too fond of playing alongside them. They're beating them silly early on thanks to Bryce Young's revival, jumping out to a 23 lead. But the good Kyler manages to flip the switch. He and James Conner make this into another close contest, and it continues to be so throughout the second half. Neck and neck they go. Carolina for bragging rights, Arizona simply to survive. The situation's perilous. Both teams duking it out as the Panthers maintain a slim 3-point advantage. The Cards have some semblance of momentum, and Kyler proceeds to throw it all away on a weak arm punt. Kyler, why do you keep doing this, man? It's fortunate that Arizona's D bails him out for another chance. But trying to tie the game with a 2-minute drill, they still nearly fuck it up. Nobody knew the clock was still running after a Kyler scramble? Really? You're just insanely lucky that Chad Ryland bailed you guys out with a drill kick. To overtime we go. The Panthers get first chance. They do nothing with it. Now Arizona can escape. They completely fuck it up. Wonderful. Just a disaster drive emphasizing their frustrations. Chuba, go out there and get revenge for your faux pas against Tampa Bay a few weeks ago. Take us all to the promised land.
Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard dancing into the end zone and a Panthers victory with a touchdown in overtime.
Yeah, Carolina finally broke through the pain barrier to successfully finish a contest. Good for them. I'm serious, they've endured enough shit over the past few years. Perhaps someday things might get better as long as David Tepper doesn't meddle yet again, but for now, enjoy this. Tampa Bay smells fear. They can sense the Panthers' despair in these hostile grounds. Upstart offense and Bryce Young's emergence be damned, the Buccaneers need a target after last week's flatlining. Lo and behold, the fresh meat currently wetting themselves at the sight of Baker Mayfield gutting his adversaries alive is the perfect target. Baker thrives as the underdog, but this may have been his magnum opus. 5 TDs, over 350 yards passing, and made Carolina stay out of sorts at every turn. Bryce did all right for himself today, but Mayfield was on an entirely different stratosphere. In the darkness, a new face emerges from the shadows. You've heard of the emergence of Bucky Irving this year? Meet Ducky Irving. His aura and charisma wills the special teams to blocked punts and return touchdowns. The rallying cry for a resurgence. A desperately needed win and morale boost to keep them alive in the playoff hunt. The Panthers can have all of their silver linings and positive trends. Tampa Bay has greater aspirations to attend to. One more victory. That's all it'll take to host another playoff game. It's been an awful stretch. 2-game advantage over the Bucks with tiebreaker, and you've choked enough to be in this situation? So not only do you have to pray that Spencer Rattler can keep it up, the Panthers are more than eager to play spoiler. The only thing this game is going to be is a proving ground for Bryce Young. It's a night and day difference from his disastrous form at the start of the year. All Carolina had to do was give him a factory reset and he's good to go. Do you remember what Sam Darnold did to this defense? Bryce is doing the same shit here. It'd be awful nice if the Falcons had a pass rush. If only they didn't ogle at every skill position player imaginable. The national media thinks Terry Fontenot is a genius for what he did. It was managerial malpractice. The Panthers' defense is the worst in football in most statistical metrics, but it means nothing if Atlanta's D can do nothing but bow down in the wake of Bryce. This is an offensive fire show. Bryce and company against Penix and Bijan. Strength against strength. And Carolina's eager to generate momentum going into next year. They're doing a good job of it so far. A college barn burner Big 12 style. And I think those teams could play better defense. This is going to take overtime to solve. Knowing this game, it's going to whomever gets the ball first. Lucky you, it's Carolina. No pass rush for Atlanta, no ability to defend Young. The game's already lost. Bow the fuck out. Another year of failure to add on to the pile. Bryce has a signature moment in his often maligned career and has been given new life. The Falcons only suffer inevitable death. This organization somehow still hasn't recovered from 28-3. Sad as it may seem, Panthers fans have to be satisfied with how this season turned out. Look, when you're at absolute zero, even a blade of grass growing in a wasteland is cause for celebration. There was progress. Actual progress. Unbelievable. May I present Exhibit A, Bryce Young. His early showings? Oh boy, he was a mess. And I'm underselling the hell out of it. When he got benched, it felt like it was the end of his time in Carolina. Turns out all he needed was a factory reset. Once he got back, he returned to showing the confidence and poise he had at Alabama. Dead in the water to becoming the potential franchise future again. So we know the true solution to any QB struggles. If you tried unplugging him and plugging him back in, they might want to do the same with their defense. The league's worst by a country mile, especially against the run. Injuries to Derek Brown and Shaq Thompson early on exacerbate that. Yes, they suffered a metric shit ton of heartbreaking losses, but those would have been blowouts last year. Take this meager momentum and stride, my friends. A campaign without a David Tepper moment is a good one to experience.